Well, folks, how's it going out there? Matt coming at you from Estelle's. This is our third official podcast with our official second guest. We're supposed to have Chef Andy Bonet on today from Rubaiyat, and we had to reschedule. Some personal stuff came up. No big deal. So we are going to have on today my buddy Nick Thouin. He is the sales representative of the regional southeast of Minnesota for Surly Brewing Company. Yes, Surly Brewing Company, great beer. Nick is a cool dude. He lives down here around me. We have mutual friends together, and just always a great conversation. So this is Restaurant Life, Episode 3, with my buddy Nick Thouin. Here we go.
So much more to this restaurant life. So much more to this restaurant life. So much more to this restaurant life. Let's go!
Hey guys, how's it going? Matt coming at you from Restaurant Life Podcast number 3. We're supposed to have guest Chef Andy Bonet on today. Had some stuff come up. We had to reschedule. Look forward to having him on the podcast in the future. My buddy Nick Thouin has filled in for him. Nick is the sales representative for the southeast region of Minnesota for Surly Brewing Company. Am I getting that right?
You are correct.
Awesome, man. Thanks for coming. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for filling in. Always great to see you.
Good to see you too, man. Thanks for having me.
For sure, brother. So you just came from a promotional meeting for Pub Crawl.
Yes.
Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, well, one of the fun parts of my job is being able to plan and be involved in really unique events in Minnesota. This one specifically that we're talking about is it's called Squirrely with Surly. It's going to be the fifth one that we've done in Lanesboro, Minnesota. So we partner with a lot of the local businesses in kind of putting together an event that takes place over the weekend, usually in April. This particular one's going to be April 22nd and 23rd. We have an awesome lineup of unique rare beers from Surly, some old favorites, and some unreleased stuff. So everybody in town kind of has some different unique stuff on. There's a lot of festivities tied around it, and
having some music, having some
bands.
Yep, for sure.
Yep, there's some bands playing down at the High Court Pub. There's just kind of to encourage people to get outside, thaw out, enjoy some spirits and some beers with their friends, and just make their way through the beautiful area that we call home, and just enjoy it. So
I like that portion of like celebrating this region, celebrating what we have here, and you grew up here, so you know it better than most. Is that there's a lot to offer. This place has a lot to offer, Southeast Minnesota. My friends, when they come down from the cities for the first time, they're like, I had no idea. I had no idea this was here. This is like rolling hills and bluffs and, beautiful valleys. And it's like, yeah, man, this is a scene, and we celebrate it. So you're so used to the way that you live your life here. It's very natural for you.
Yeah. I've just been fortunate to meet and be a part of the community.
Just in the last 6 years that I've been here of that portion of, craft beer sales, of doing pub crawls, of doing promotions, of having, different choices for people and people getting into it, right? So there's like more microbreweries, there's more people doing their distillery thing. There's just, where the cities were, say 10, 15, 12 years ago.
It's starting to trickle down here.
It's starting to trickle down, right? And, for me, being the restaurant guy, doing my culture thing, doing my food thing, doing my, trying to lead the forefront of people trying new things, trusting us to do that. That's a big part of what I do is having my beer taps. There's 12 of them. There's something kind of for everybody.
Right.
It rotates through. I want you to try this with this, and it's like, oh man, we don't just have to drink Busch Light.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I like a good Busch Light. But it is that culture of trying these new things that are also good that maybe you didn't know about.
Yeah, I just like being an ambassador of things that I find cool and that I like to do and drink, and so that's kind of where my passion comes from. It's just whether it's food or beer, just really just trying to dive in and try new things.
Yep.
And
that's every time that we hang out and talk. It's like, have you checked this out? Have you heard about this? Have you seen this? You know, like that's cool that is part of your job, because you get to be on the forefront. You get to try those new things out. I love it when beer purveyors or, booze purveyors, anybody that's doing alcohol, come in, they have all their new samples for the year.
Yeah.
Me and my cooks, we get pretty hyped on that. We're like, oh, what do they got this year? Oh, they're
Right.
doing a cherry sour, bomb with fruity flakes, like cereal milk flavored, whatever. It's like, how are you going to make that good? Well, they did it. They figured it out. There's just somebody on the cutting edge always trying to make that new, different thing that you didn't even know that you might like, right?
Right.
And that is always an interesting, fun conversation. And like I said, whenever we get together, that's kind of what, have you checked this out? Have you seen this? It's either music, it's food, it's the vibe of what's going on with our business and our industry. It's like, yeah, this is kind of where it's trending.
Right.
I think last time we hung out, we were talking about, just how you go from a lot of restaurants to restaurants, and you see the vibe of what's happening. And I was sharing with you kind of like just this last Friday of, people kind of like, when's it going to be back to the new normal? When's it going to be back? And honestly, it was like, I don't know if it was because it was Good Friday.
Yeah.
Or it's just when it happened, but it was like literally I looked out in my restaurant
and it was full.
It was full. People were drinking. People were walking around, talking to each other. There wasn't a mask in sight. And it was like, I've been waiting 2 years for this, man.
Yeah.
And I think we had that conversation of you like going around. You're kind of seeing that
Yeah.
in pockets around.
Yeah.
You know?
I've done my best to really, be respectful of people around me, but in doing so, it's you're seeing that. Whether it's, from restaurants, some comedy clubs, music venues, you're seeing people kind of, shed the skin of the last couple of years and really, I think everybody's just asking themselves like what they want out of life now going forward, and like
right, what's going to serve us?
Right.
What can we take from those different adaptations that we had to do, and take that into where we're going, right?
Right.
I mean, there were certain parameters put on all of us in this industry. Well, you used to be able to do this, now you got to do that. Okay, so we can do this. How do we make this good enough and expand on this portion of the business to support us financially,
right,
and to also build something that could be going forward part of our business plan to sustain. I'll give you a good example. We did our family meals last year and in the wintertime, and it was just something to like, dude, we got to sell this food. We still got to feed these people. They can't come in and sit down. Let's try this out, and that's a lot of restaurants were doing it, but because it was so successful and it was people dig it, we did it this winter as well as being open, so that's like a good example of taking that thing that you kind of had to do just to make it and like, oh cool, man,
that's working.
It's working.
It was born out of being resilient, and now it's something that is just a part of your business,
right? And I think that's across the industry.
Yeah.
It's just like, dude, and people get it. People aren't, there's still those people that are like, well, I like it this way, and it used to be like this. It's like, yeah, but this is what we've done because we had to, and this is what's working, and this is our business plan. And most people are just like, you do you, man. Make it happen. We want you to be here. We want you to keep growing. We want to keep this thing moving forward.
For sure.
So that's been a really cool thing to see. Not only the industry do that, but the patrons kind of understand it and get behind you, because we're in a small town.
Right.
And it's an open book for me. I'm like, hey, this is what's going on. This is how it is. And this is what we got to do. And everybody's like, do it. That's cool. We put that new patio on. We can't wait for that patio to open, man, because that was a COVID thing.
I will say, it feels more so now that, people are just more anxious to like really kind of get out there and like, try if you're putting out something new and refreshing on the table, like, people are more interested in trying it and just more open to, trying to take those experiences when they can get them, because, we don't know when that's the last chance.
You don't know when it's the last chance, and it also feels kind of like they're making up for lost time a little bit.
Absolutely.
Like, man, I was in my house all year last year. I don't care what we're doing. I don't care if it's new. I'll try it. Let's get out and let's hang out.
And I know a lot of people that have been, just traveling and not necessarily distances, but just like trying to get out of their own, like, smaller circles and venture out, and, whether it's, just going to the neighboring town, or go to a place within your own town that you haven't patronized before.
Yep.
There's just a lot out there still, and there's a lot of things that have changed and moved around, but
and it's like, and you see this too in the industry, like when you do have something that is a good product, it kind of takes care of itself,
right?
It's you can kind of rely on that, where okay, this new crowd are trying new things. Like,
right.
We had this discussion with the first time I tried Bell's Two Hearted.
Oh man,
where it's just like, wow, I didn't know.
Yeah,
that's the bomb. Same thing with Surly Furious. I think you can put those in the same category, where it's like, dude, you never had a Surly Furious?
Right.
Here, try this beer out. This is like in that vein of like, dude, once they try it, once it's good, once they acknowledge it.
Yeah, we're in agreement there, and when you look at, I just trace back to kind of what actually got me into craft beer, and early on, like, those were two very monumental beers. I remember the first 6-pack of Bell's Two Hearted that I bought out of the cooler.
Trout swimming
on it.
Yeah.
Yep, that's why I bought it, and just jumped out of the glass still, and it will always be an all-time, top 10 beer for me.
Absolutely. It's a game changer.
It is.
It really is.
It is.
I'll tell you that quick story for the listeners that we discussed, and I told it, but I was we were at the bar. I had just started working for my brother's restaurant. I drank Bud Light my whole 20s.
Yep.
I just turned 30. I was venturing out into trying the new Northeast beer. So that was me being a crafty beer drinker. And I ordered a pitcher at the bar, at the little dive bar. We were there to see Nick the Feelin'.
Nick the Feelin'.
Yeah, dude. It was
Shout
fun.
out.
Shout out. And I ordered the Northeast pitcher, and they gave me the Bell's Two Hearted next. I'm like, no, I didn't order that. And the bartender just looks at me. He's like, I know you didn't order it, bro, but trust me, this is what you want.
Yeah.
Hey, dude, you're welcome. It's a good mistake. And I tried it, and that was it. I was like, oh my God, I had no idea.
Yeah.
It's next level. That's where something that, again, once people venture out and try new things and get out of their comfort zone, those high-level products kind of just take care of it for you.
Right.
It sets the tone where it's like, whoa, that's a whole new world. I want to check all of this out now.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. Early on, when I was kind of getting into more of the brewing side of things, just on a homebrew level, craft brewing out of my garage, those beers early on, specifically Bell's Two Hearted, Surly Cynic at the time was a Belgian style pale ale.
Yep.
That was unprecedented.
Absolutely.
And both of those beers, I kind of gauged my level of understanding of craft brewing based on how I could execute those beers, and I would do side by sides and compare, and obviously
just geek out,
staring up to staring at giants, but no, it was like very strong passion early on, and even to kind of come close to a flavor profile that resembles one of those beers feels like a huge accomplishment.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely, and I was going to go off that. That's a thing I've noticed in brewing, or the brewers like I kind of follow. I'm not that hype on it, but I dig it. And there are some that specialize in different beers that do it, I'm gonna say better, but like they do it differently and they do it consistently. And they're like, dude,
that's huge.
He does 10 different lagers. It's like, that's insane. That's like this chef like that only cooks French food, but he can do every recipe. He
Absolutely.
knows every term. He knows every trick. And it's like, dude, that's just not. You don't just get to have that. You have to build that. You have to craft that, and then that turns into the art of man. He has this thing that he can do by himself, that he's grown. And that comes from dudes, like you're saying, just being in your garage and having that home brew kit.
Not being afraid to take risks.
Yep. Absolutely.
You could screw up a batch of beer, and chances are it'll still taste better than a lot of the stuff that you're going to find out there at times. Actually, it's, the brewing scene has gotten a whole lot better, and there's so many amazing beers to be had. Can't even keep up anymore.
Right. No, the market is saturated, but like I said, the ones that are primo
stand the test of time.
They do. Yeah. They do. It's like, dude, no matter what, I know I can have a Bell's Two Hearted. No matter what, I know I can have a Surly Furious.
Yep.
And kind of rely on that, and then go well, what are they doing now? What are they doing next? You know, what are they into? Let's
Yeah.
try new things.
And that's what I think that's what the brewers are just excited about. Like, you know, I couldn't tell you the number of brewers that just have, you know, a laundry list of different, you know, different styles and different things that they want to try. And, you know, sometimes it can feel like, you know, there's a lot of the same stuff out there when you go from place to place. But by and large, I think, you know, there's still a lot of ingenuity and a lot of innovation.
Yeah, they still
coming
have their
out
own
and,
signature.
Yeah.
On what they're doing and how they did it.
Yep.
And there's just a lot of time, temperature, flavor, malt, hops, like different combinations where it's like, yeah, I did this the same as this guy, but I did this for longer.
Right.
You know, or I got this from this part of the world. These,
Oh, absolutely.
You know, these mosaic hops and this, like, when you taste that just big, juicy, freaking IPA bomb, like, it's like, dude, this guy knew what he was doing. This is the batch, you know.
Yeah.
And people get hyped about that. Toppling Goliath is 20 miles south of us, and they line up when they're doing something new. I'm sure they do it at Surly too, where it's just like,
Absolutely.
the brewer is doing this thing again, or he's doing this for the first time. We have his credibility already. We know what he can do. I want to get the first one of this next thing he's doing.
Yeah, we were going over big beer influences, and, you know, I got to give a shout out to Toppling Goliath as well. They, you know, in terms of being a southeastern Minnesota guy, they, for a long time, kind of before Rochester started growing, were the closest craft brewery to where I live, and it was where I would always go to drink pints, and they've come a long way as well. And I,
Yeah, they
Pseudo Sue, man.
Pseudo Sue, and my favorite is the Pompeii. That's what we got on tap here. That's since it's been on. It's been on for like 2 years because that's the one I like.
Yeah.
And, you know, they have those flagship brews crafted that you can depend on,
Right.
lean on, and then you know they build it from there. But it's pretty cool that they're only 25 minutes away from
Right.
us. You know,
Right. And shout out to them. And there's lots of, you know, additional. I mean, how many breweries now do we have in Fillmore County? I mean,
well, there's one in
Karsten, Fountain,
yep.
Sylvan
in
Lanesboro. You have Hop and Barrel in Spring Valley, Minnesota.
Hop and Barrel. Yeah. Do they do sours there? Is that what they're doing? Sours and, like, isn't there a mead?
They got a pretty developed beer program. They got a lot of stuff. Good friend of mine, Justin Turbeast, owns and operates that place,
Right
and they do an IPA that they use the Brettanomyces yeast in.
Okay.
That's the same yeast that we use in the pentagram that you have on tap.
Oh, baby, I
Yeah,
like
man.
that stuff.
It's delicious. So
If you haven't tried the Surly Pentagram, the barrel age, you got to try it out. Just shout out to that.
Yeah, it's wonderful. But yeah, Justin just put that out. That's a favorite of mine right now. They've got they do some cool like slushy infusion beers over there, and
That's new. I've never heard of that.
yeah, and they their stout is a favorite of mine as well. So yeah, I encourage people to check that out when they're in Spring Valley.
And that was what? Hop and Barrel?
Hop and Barrel.
Right on.
Yeah.
There's one in Preston, Brown Trout. Is that what it is?
It's Trout City.
Trout City.
Yeah.
Thank you. Sorry about.
Yep.
Sorry, Brown Trout. Sorry, Trout City. It's Trout City.
Yeah. So
So that's what, 5?
that's 5 at least off the top of my head, and I apologize if I'm forgetting something.
There's a mead. They do mead in Fountain, and I forget the name of that too. But we actually they do wine and mead, and we had
rad.
some of their.
I love mead.
Yeah, bomb, right? And we had some of their ginger mead on here. We did for a.
They
private
doing that at
dinner.
Karst?
No, it's not in Karst. Oh man, I forget the name. Sorry guys. I'll find it here. We'll cut out and I'll find it. But
Nice.
they do a good job too. So yeah, like people are just innovative. People are trying new things. People are building new things, and it's like, I feel, because we opened 6 years ago. I feel that we got in kind of on the ground floor when we opened up, because there was none of this other stuff around.
Right.
And I was just so
You were.
focused. I was just so focused on being a restaurant for this town and, building my little business. And then all these things, all these different people start popping up. Harmony Spirits, next door. They've been there for 2 years now. We only sell their booze here. If you want a margarita, it's, with their booze. If you want a Jack and Coke, it's with their bourbon.
Nice.
You know, so it's like, it's so cool that it's next door.
Yeah,
right?
it is.
And we celebrate that.
It is. And I was just going to say, I wanted to thank you particularly for taking a risk down here in this area because, you know, I remember when Estelle's came to town and your reputation preceded you because I had friends who knew you and said, look out for Estelle's. So,
that's awesome.
you know, and not taking anything away from any of the other restaurants in the area, but what you brought to the table was unprecedented and it really elevated the cuisine in the area and the atmosphere, and your personality is infectious.
Thanks,
and so it like made me excited to, like, you know, call my small, you know, like our area down here home, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it, you know, we like, it's really kind of the beginning of a scene. And, you know, much the same way we just talked about, you know, some of these, some of our breweries, the distillery popping up, you know, there's been a lot of other great restaurants too that I don't want to forego talking about that have popped up around the area too. And you were kind of the forefront of that. So
I appreciate that.
yeah.
That's high praise.
If you haven't been here, figure it out.
Come check it out, man. We have a good time, you know? Yeah, it is exciting. It is exciting for me to see it happening, you know? And like I said, I feel like we got in on the ground floor. We did it for the right reasons. And I think when you do stuff for the right reasons,
Yeah.
you know, it starts to blossom out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people see that. People want to get in on that wave. They want to, like, get in on that energy. Like, dude, if he can do it, we can do it, you know? And I'm so, proud and thankful and humble about it, where it's like, I get to do this. I get to be here. I get to do my thing where I want to do it, how I want to do it, with who I want to do it with. And I couldn't ask for anything much more, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and every year it is growing. It is
Right.
growing. And so you know it's going in the right direction, and you see other businesses getting in on that.
Right.
It's a beautiful thing, man. It's a beautiful thing for our small town. It's a beautiful thing for our small southern Minnesota community,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and to support each other. You know, we love going out to eat to Lanesboro. To, you know, our buddy Tyler Shipton, shout out. Junipers. If you haven't been to Junipers, they just opened up 3 months ago.
3 months ago.
Yeah. January?
Yeah, I think so. Or I think they were open a little before that.
Yeah,
but yeah.
I think they opened around Christmas.
Yeah,
Mutual friend of ours. You grew up together.
we did.
And this is great. I got to just connect the dots here. Tyler was one of the chefs at my brother's restaurant when I first started 12 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
My first day, I was Tyler's helper. So Tyler showed me how to hold a knife. He showed me how to cut an onion. He showed me how to, you know, make sauces. He showed me a lot of different techniques of, all right, man, you're going to be in here. You're going to help out. You're going to be my guy. I need you to do this, 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 and this. I'm like, dude, I don't know how to do. It's like trying to play a song, and I don't know how to play
Right.
hold the guitar. You know, it's like, all right, he had to really take his time.
You may
with me.
think you know.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah, I mean, because I've always just known him as Tyler, and like you said, we did grow up together. And I remember back when he opened up his first restaurant, Burrow, in the cities, and going up there and sitting down, and I mean, he was just throwing some crazy stuff out
Dude.
there, and just
Talented.
just treating our party to things that we've never tried before, and like really like opening my eyes. And you know, he's definitely
So talented, so capable. We're lucky to have him. He came
So
home
lucky.
and he opened up a restaurant here with us, and it's like, dude, everybody's like, well, are you concerned that's going to take business from you? I'm like, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Elevates
everybody's going to be better. Mm-hmm. The scene's going to be better.
Right.
More people are going to come because we got a food scene now.
For sure.
You know, it's like, this is good. This is great. And he's our buddy.
Yeah, it's
like, we just went and ate Mexican food in Cresco with him and Amy and Juniper.
Nice.
Yes, on Sunday.
Nice.
Like, we get to hang out too, you know? So it's
almost surreal.
It really is. It really is. And it's like, wow, that was 12 years ago. And we're here now, and I'm running my own restaurant and doing this thing, and he's doing it in the next town over. I'm so thankful for that.
Absolutely.
You know, it's just, right, surreal. You can't really write it up like that. You can, but, you know, normally shit doesn't happen that way.
Right.
You know, going into that, the first time that we ever met is a pretty cool story too.
It is.
I had just
I was thinking of this the other day too.
Yeah. I had just I'd moved down. I was doing the construction here at Estelle's with my father-in-law Jim, and we took a Monday off. And so I was like, I gotta go. I want to do something. I went and checked out Niagara Cave, and you and your wife Steph were there, taking the tour. We were in the same tour.
Yep.
We went down. I was being a jackass, of course, and being fun and having a good time. And we had some conversations there, but it was just like whatever. And then that was, I remember meeting you guys, but then you guys came and ate after we did open, and I was like, I know you, or we've hung out, and you're like, yeah, man. We were
on that tour.
We were on that tour at Niagara Cave together. I was like, oh, okay, yeah. And then we started talking, and we have this mutual friend, Tyler Shipton, and it was like, okay.
Yep.
I can tell that we are going to be friends.
Yeah.
It was just like one of those moments where it's like, well, what's the, serendipitous, thing of happening of me and you. You've lived your whole life. You've never been to the cave. I just moved down here on a random Monday. I'm going to go check it out. Here we are.
There we are.
Right?
Yeah.
So
Makes
cool.
sense, man.
It does.
That was cool. Yeah, I remember. I was with my friend Craig and my wife Steph, and I remember the first time we ate here too, man, and those pork nuggets that you make, and the buttermilk squash soup over the cotton candy, man.
Yeah, well, that took that from my brother's restaurant. He did that.
Shout out to your brother.
Shout out to Mike Brown, Travail, the crazy cotton candy, and everybody listening. That is not mine. I'm just going to say it right now.
I don't even think it was on the menu. I think you just did it for me, maybe, but
probably back then.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to check this out, dude.
Yeah.
This is fun. We have a little fun with the food too. Hey, we spent all day making this stuff. We really care about it. The flavor's there. I'm gonna have a little fun with it. Presented a little fun, zany, zacky, wacky way.
Absolutely.
People dig it, man. I dig it too. It's fun for us coming out there and pouring it over cotton. You're like, is that my soup?
What are you doing to my food?
Yeah, I'm like, that's that space age soup, or that's some insulation from the wall we just put in there. It's like, oh, is that cotton candy? Yeah. Now watch this. Wow, and it disappears, and it's like, oh my god.
That's fun.
It's fun.
Hell yeah.
Have a good time. So let's switch gears here. Let's go back into beer. Like I was saying, I dig having something for everybody. And there's so many different options, right?
Right.
When I'm setting up my beer taps, it's like, dude, especially for this season, okay, here's what's available. Here's what people liked last year. So maybe we'll take something from that, portion of like how we're setting it up. Here is, the beers that are going to make us a profit.
Right.
More, and this is what we sold more of last year. So let's, maybe keep it in that vein.
Sure.
That's got to be something that you absolutely look at when you're speaking to restaurants, when you're speaking to your salespeople.
Yeah. It's kind of a balance in trying to check all the boxes, and, from my side of things, bringing something to the table that I know is going to work for each restaurant based on, what their clientele is going to be, looking for.
What the menu is.
Yeah. Absolutely. Things that we see working in the area.
It's
absolutely.
But you can see it too when they come in. It's like they're looking for a specific kind of beer. Not per se the exact beer that they drink, but it's like, I like Hefeweizen.
Right.
I like dark ales.
Right.
I like a nice golden ale.
Sure.
I like Busch Light. Cool. We got all something like that for you.
Right.
But like I said, there's different styles of those different brews, right? And I think what your job with your salespeople is like, like you're saying, check out the menu, check out your personnel, your clientele. What's going to sell most? What's going to do you favors of me suggesting to have in your space?
Right. What are people like? What are people drinking? I mean, what do people want? And that's always that's the golden question, and it's always changing, and that's
always
awesome.
Changing. I was just saying, and it really is like not a herd mentality, but you see it trend.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, dude, we put mango card on last year. It's a mango Hefeweizen.
One person orders it, and that's all it takes.
And
right?
they see it, and you got a freaking orange sticking out, and like that looks like a blue moon. Yeah, it's like that, but it's got mango. And then they order 7 of them, and we're sitting on the patio, and that's our number 1 seller this month. Who knew?
Right.
You know, it's like, dude, it's
Got to
like
roll with that.
It is. It's like, okay, that's trend. Like we're saying, we're gonna take that from last year. We're gonna maybe put a different one on that's kind of like that. And keep that going.
Yep.
You know.
And then you go down the block and it's different beer altogether, right?
Yes.
That's hitting. So.
Yep. And it's like you said, the clientele, what people are into, what's trending, what they've drank forever.
Yep.
That'll happen too when they'll come in and be like, man, I just want a light beer. And I'm like, cool. I got Busch Light, Make Ultra Light in cans over here. I got PBR.
Right.
Play it safe. Or, hey, maybe you want to try this Kona Big Wave Golden Ale out.
Yeah.
That's a light ale.
Yeah.
That's on tap. And they'll try it. They'll drink it. And the next time they come in, they know that's here. They enjoyed it. Hey, dude, I really like that Golden Ale. Check it out. And they got a pint and they're into it. I'm like, there it is. That's the process. That's us working and to give them those different ideas to try new things. And look at that. You like it better.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't drink that all the time, but when you come here, you drink it because you dig it. And we have it, you know. So
part of
those walls.
Part of my job is obviously, you know, supporting the beer once it does find its way on tap. And when I'm in an account, you know, I'm lucky enough to be able to share beers with people and buy beers for people. And it's always cool seeing people's reactions and, you know, and just really seeing what they're drinking anyway. So.
Yeah. And you could build your pitch off that, or not pitch, but like it's part of the conversation then.
Right.
Because you're having a beer.
Right.
I mean, what more better way to break the ice than is to have a beer with somebody and talk about it.
Right.
You know, it's like, dude.
That's what I live for.
Exactly. It's a great perk of your job.
Yeah, it's all right.
You get to hang out with people and have a couple of beers. Like we talked about that. It's like, yeah, sometimes I got to just, know I'm going to have 8 beers today through the day. So I got to like pace myself.
I know where I'm going. I got to get a hotel room.
Right?
Yeah.
So a perk in that I love food and I have my own restaurant and I have to be like, okay, I'm going to be here for 12 hours. Maybe I should lay off the pork nuggets for lunch today.
Pace yourself a little bit. Absolutely.
That's definitely part of it. Kid in a candy store. I tell people, I'm an addict and I'm a food drug. Say food's the drug. I'm an addict and I run a really good food processing plant. And it's being able to shut that off, to know that, okay, this is part of my responsibilities today, my business. I have to make this, and this to get to here. Mm-hmm. Maybe don't eat, all 3 of those. Taste it, this and that. Tasting. But just being aware is one of those things that I tell people. I'm like, it took me about a year to really be able to separate those. Yeah.
Too much of a good thing, is a real hazard, I guess you could call it, of our job.
If you're not careful, man, all of a sudden that takes over and you're in a place that you didn't want to be, right? Yeah. And so it's like, okay, but that's with everything with life, all the addictions, all the things we like.
Oh yeah.
Trying to do it in moderation.
Absolutely.
Be responsible. Those we're a little older now.
Pick your vices.
Yes. I switch gears back to Surly. My brother Mike owns Travail. When they opened up in 2011, Surly, the first brewing company, was down the street in Brooklyn Center. And my brother's restaurant Travail is still in Robbinsdale. Sure. But with a different location back then. And his thing was, dude, I gotta get Surly Furious on. I gotta do it. And I think he ran into, I'll let my brother tell this when he's on the podcast, but I think he ran into Omar and random somewhere and hit him up and it's like, dude, I'm opening up my restaurant here. And this is when Surly Furious was like,
it was coveted.
It was the hottest thing in America.
I couldn't find it.
It was, it was not available. And on opening day, Omar brought a keg down for Travail. And my brother was like, let's talk about the stars aligning of like, I did not think that was going to happen.
Awesome.
Of him delivering and bringing it down himself. That's a story that, and Surly's been on ever since.
That's
for
awesome.
12 years.
Wow. That's a cool story. I didn't know that. That predates me being there by quite a few years. But there's, speaking of our owner Omar Ansari, kind of my first interaction with him was I was at Surly Darkness Day, and for those who aren't aware what that is, it's a day where Surly's Russian Imperial Stout Darkness is released, and it's a great Imperial Stout. highly accoladed and
Yes.
widely known. And it used to be a big party up at Brooklyn Center. Some awesome metal bands, lots of good beer.
Yes.
People line up, lots of bottle sharing.
I made it to
camping,
one, and it was a blast.
Yeah,
It was a blast.
it was a solid time. I miss those days.
Yep.
I was in attendance. I want to say it was probably 2015, and I was double fisting Surly's.
Yeah.
You know, had a ride, of course.
When in Rome.
And when in Rome. And and I just remember, Omar walking up to me, and he was also double fisting beers, and we did the double cheers, and I didn't even know him. And but I mean, I knew who he was, but I didn't know him, of course. And like, that's all it took, man. It left a pretty good impression on me. That paired with the amazing music, and I was there in good company with friends, which is what it's all about at the end of the day, bringing people together around beer, and just sharing some good times. And so that's really kind of
where it ignited.
I mean, I
for
was always a big fan leading up to it, so it was just kind of just by luck that I wound up working for the company.
Super cool,
I love
man.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like I said, you can tell that you're into it, and like how you talk about it, and it's part of your life, so
Mm-hmm.
which is it's incorporated the other things that you do. It's like, yeah, he's a beer guy.
Yeah, and sometimes it's just sometimes you don't feel like you deserve to have the job that you have. I don't know.
That's how you
like,
know.
You call it like I've heard it called imposter syndrome. You're just like, how did I wind up here? And you got to pinch yourself sometimes, and
Absolutely.
respect for the people that kind of did it before you and paved the way, and of which there's too many to count. And
Yep. I have the same, I wouldn't say issue, but I have the same kind of recurring thing where once in a while I literally just have to stop what I'm doing in here and just look up and say thank you.
yeah,
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I get to do this. I get to do this. I get to be a part of this, of what's happening, And like you said, it's like I have so many people to thank to, got me where I am, but I get to do this.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, you can tell, like when we're talking about what you're doing and stuff, it's like, yeah, man, same kind of vibe. It's a really cool thing. And Omar did it right. Like how he started out for the right reasons, and he had the right brewers, and it was like just doing good beer, like you said, bringing people together and having good times, and like it was the right intentions. And look at it now.
right.
It's
I mean, it was born from Omar Brewing in his homebrew system at his house, out of his garage. Working with, just working by himself. His friends were coming over, enjoying the beer. He can tell the story way better
yeah. Well, hopefully
than I
have him on
can.
someday.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Right. We'll probably go up there and see if we can have an hour for us.
That would be killer.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Probably have to reach out.
Yeah.
Todd, I forget Todd's last name, but he used to be the brewer. I don't know if he still is. I don't know if he was there when you were there.
He was not there when I was there.
So I think he did the Axeman.
Yep.
Like that was his. Yep.
Yep.
And which is awesome.
It's
love
great
that.
beer. Love Axe, man.
So we had, and he would come to Travail.
Nice.
Often. He lived down the road.
Okay.
And so we had Surly Furious and Surly Bender on tap. And Bob Gherkin, one of the chef owners of Travail, I think he was the one that made it up. But it was half Surly,
Furious.
half Furious,
and Bender.
half Bender, and they call it a Fender.
Nice.
And so when anybody would order one, Bob would pour it, and he would go to the kitchen and be like, I got a Fender here. And then the whole kitchen crowd, Fender here. And it was,
Nice.
So Todd was there, and this
For
is
the
his
first Fender,
I don't know if it was the first one,
yeah.
but he was there dining, and this is his beer,
of course.
And so Bob was like, is this okay that I...
What was his answer? I don't.
He goes, he was really cool about it. He was like, I get it. I respect the gimmick of it because it is fun. It is cool, but it is made to drink separately, And honestly, it does taste good. The combo, it works, It's not...
Bender's a retired beer for us, but
it is?
So I won't be able to try it, but
Yeah.
it sounds interesting.
It is interesting. And so, super cool dude, cool about it. Wasn't upset or anything, but he just, we asked him, and he was honest about it, and he was cool with us doing it.
Nice.
But going into the next point is that at Travail, every Saturday night after service, we would have beer chug races. And so my brother would fill up 20 pints of fenders.
Holy.
Yep. And so it would be chef against chef. You tap, slam. First one done is the chug winner. And then we
tournament style.
Yep, tournament style. And we would have guests from the audience that were dining come up and challenge chefs or challenge other patrons. And
they were all 50-50, Bender and Furious.
Yes.
Wow.
And chugging one of those, man, is not like a Busch Light or Bud Light. It's a big, heavy beer.
Yeah.
It's strong.
Yeah.
So it just, not only is it hard to do it fast, but when you are done, you're buzzed up pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, it's a shotgun, quick style. Your brain's swimming a little bit. Good times. Always Saturday night, you know.
Absolutely.
It was one of those, what song was it? It was by Mungo Jerry in the summertime. I
don't know it.
In the summertime
yeah.
when the weather is fine. And when that song would come on. Yep. It was like Pavlov's dog. Like it was like all the, the crew was like, it's time to chug beer. And then he would fill up all the fenders and let's party.
Because a big part of Travail was like the amusement side, right?
Yep.
It was kind of, I don't want to say like dinner theater, but it was like, weren't they doing?
It was a degree of that.
Yeah.
There was a curtain. So the beginning of service at 5:00, we'd be like, ladies and gentlemen, we give you Travail, and we would like put the curtain up, and the music would come on, and we would have like the first course or all the meads, or not meads, but the intermezzos, or what am I thinking of? Little bites. What's the little bites called? I always forget. Anyway, something ready, and we would just all come out with small bites for people,
Nice.
and then let's go. And now we're okay. First course over here. These guys got small bites. These guys over here, and like, it was, kind of an orchestrated thing. Let's start the show.
Nice.
Not to the amount where it's like choreographed.
Right.
We did do a few things like that. We would sing songs and practice and whatever, but it was, there's no servers. It's just all chefs. And when we opened, especially when it was really busy, when we first got busy, there was 8 of us, doing everything, prepping, and then,
just playing off of each other.
So there was that theatrical feel of the chefs are here. This is our energy. This is what we've made today. And the delivery of it was like something that had never been seen. It was just such a cool energy. And when it was bumping and hopping, it literally felt like you were floating. Like it was surreal. It was like transitioned you into like this different state of mind, where it's like,
wow,
dude, you look around and you could see people looking around like, this is fucking cool. Like, yeah. I've never, maybe one other time in my life I've seen this or felt like this or been in the same room as this kind of energy.
Like a synchronicity. And
yeah. And it didn't happen all the time, but the way it was set up, there was an opportunity for it to happen. If the right notes were hit and the right amount of booze was poured.
Yeah.
And
everything had to be
line.
Line.
And it was just like, oh my God, talk about being like addicted into something that I can't do anything else. Like, again, I'll talk about this last Friday night. I've waited 2 years to feel like that again, where my restaurant had that vibe. It wasn't quite on that level, but it was.
It was humming,
baby. That energy was there, and it was like, that's why I do this. That's what. There it is. I want more. We need more of that.
For every day that you have that doubt, and you're like,
right.
Not a great day. Got to remind yourself of those times.
Yes.
They're still happening.
And it's not like it's going to be like that all the time.
No.
It's for anything.
And if it was, it wouldn't be as. It wouldn't mean as much.
It wouldn't mean as much, right? Totally, right? But, because there was some nights when the music would come on and it was a Saturday and we weren't feeling it. We were like, dude, I don't want to chug a Furious or a Fender right now. Please don't make me. But like, no, we're doing it. We're going. You're a cook. Get your ass over here. I'm like, all right. And then, then we stay out drinking until 3 a.m, or whatever. That's kind of how that used to go back in the day. Not anymore. That's right. We're adults.
With responsibilities.
We're mature, responsible adults.
This is water, too.
That's water. This is not Kool-Aid. Have you seen that podcast with Two Bears, One Cave?
Where Bert Kreischer and Tom Segura.
He's got the Kool-Aid in there.
Oh yeah, I actually
and
have seen that
he's
one.
like, that's so much sugar. People are thinking you're hydrated, but you're just drinking Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
I will say this though, in the summertime, this holds 4 White Claws with ice.
Wow.
Just when I'm going golfing, all day we're gonna do 18 holes.
Hydrate. Yeah.
Hydrate and have a
Stay vertical.
Stay vertical. That's right. You
Yeah.
know, stay loose.
Loose. Yeah.
Out there. You gotta stay loose.
Yeah. Have some libations.
That's it.
Why
Good
not?
times. I can't wait for golf season. Do you golf?
I don't, man.
No?
I'm a terrible golfer. I frisbee golf.
Oh, we talked about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going.
Yeah, man.
We're going. I was gonna go into the golf when you asked me, because, like I said, back when I was 20 and didn't have any money, I'd frisbee golfed a lot
Yeah.
because that's what.
Of course.
That's what we could do.
Yeah.
Right. Just hang out in frisbee golf. Since moving here, I've been into regular golf. Good times, but. We're going frisbee golfing.
Yeah.
For sure.
For sure, man. I think there's a new course in Rochester. I've
Nice.
heard.
I heard there's one in St. Charles too. That's pretty cool.
Okay.
My buddy here goes there, and we're gonna check that out too. I'm actually going to St. Charles this Thursday for my first ever guest appearance job fair to represent the culinary arts.
Is that right?
Yeah.
In St. Charles.
In St. Charles, and it's for
What's that all about?
It's for the surrounding schools, to come check it out. And then there's other, industries there just for whatever. And I got asked to do it for the culinary arts, and
That's cool.
for the first time, I've only, like I said, I've been cooking for 10 years, but for the first time, I felt, aware enough of what I'm doing to actually share it with people and to have an argument, but have something to talk about to get them the information to, hey, this is my perspective. If you want to get into this industry, this is, something that I can hopefully help you understand and maybe make a decision to come in. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, man. That sounds cool. And I think, we need, I think all, especially in the hospitality industry, we need good ambassadors out there, representing this industry. And
my brother's done it a couple times, and I've seen him do it, and it's for the right reasons, right? It's like, hey, this is my life, this is what I do, this is how I got here. I want to share that with you to say, hey, maybe this is a familiar or a path that you haven't considered.
Right.
That could be for you. And one of my pitches for them is going to be, dude, I played football my whole life. I was the football guy. I was all state in high school. And we had an awesome team. I played at Winona State. And when I got done playing football, I didn't really have anything to put that effort into, to be a part of the team, to help grow something, to learn and do my part, to have, something to set my mind on with a goal that we can all achieve to get to the next level. I just kind of had a job.
Right.
I did granite countertops. I was an installer for 6 years, and I worked as a bouncer because that's what I could do. And then I started helping my brother at this restaurant, and I was like, dude, this is it. This is it. I can put myself into this.
Felt different.
Yeah. I can get rid of the bullshit that I don't need, and I can kind of reprogram my brain to put my effort and energy into something to, like I said, be part of the team, to do my part to grow and then learn, to maybe, hopefully, if I can do it good enough and have that responsibility, I could do it on my own. And so that's kind of going to be my pitch to the youth.
That sounds like a good one, man.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
But like you said, I think it is a sense of responsibility that, why wouldn't you? If you could, why wouldn't you try and do this to help to be better, to help these kids be better?
Right.
To give them those options, to talk about it.
Absolutely.
So I think there needs to be like a young brewing program, something set up for the not young kids, but like kids maybe instead of going to college, hey, we got this program here.
Yeah.
Now this is me just talking off the top of my head, but that'd be super cool. Like, hey, here's an opportunity. Here's what this is. Here's where you could do. Here's where you could go.
Right.
Something that, man, that kid that's really good at chemistry and biology that, is into music and stuff.
Make a killer brewer.
Right.
Yeah.
Like just to tap into that.
Yeah. Just, an opportunity to shadow, there's so many professions out there that I just think,
You got to just do
you
it.
know, yeah, you just got to do it, and you got to, if you're passionate, if you're passionate about something, just follow that, and there'll be naysayers and people who tell you not to do something, but
Always.
yeah, nobody's path is necessarily straightforward either, and I've had hundreds of those jobs,
Yeah.
not hundreds, but a lot
It
of
feels like 100.
jobs over the years. Feels like 100 sometimes, but you kind of you don't really know that you're where you need to be until you get there. I don't know how to say it any better than that, but it just.
And I've had this conversation with other cooks and stuff too, where it's like, man, sometimes you just have to do those jobs
Mm-hmm.
to learn how to do this particular skill
Right.
better, communication skill,
Right.
showing up on time skill,
Building those skill sets.
so that when it comes a time where you can actually maybe make a decision to do more something that you want to do,
Mm-hmm.
you've built those skill sets.
And you can do it for yourself too. If something's not being done and you want to do it,
There's a freedom.
that's
in
an
that.
opportunity for you.
Absolutely, there's a freedom in that. And you don't, like I said, you don't just get to have that. You have to build those skill sets. You have to build that confidence. You have to build those tools to be able to use it. Like, okay, I do want to go do this new thing. It's I was a salesman for this long, so I can pitch this person on this. I was like I said, a football player. I can get the team together and do this. I was a granite countertop guy. I can maybe do some of the construction stuff or have an idea of my vision for building this out. And
Right.
It's like all those things play.
Right.
I did that. I accomplished that. I was there. I have that to use to go forward.
Right.
And, sometimes you are just in those circumstances. Like you were saying, I've had a bunch of those jobs where I just had to go to work because I had to get a paycheck to pay my bills, to live.
And no disrespect there's a lot of people who are in those positions,
Yes.
and
No, but we need people to keep our economy going, to keep to people have a place to work. And I think my message is to those people is that use that time wisely. Don't make it be this is where I am and I'm never going to get out. Like, build off of that. Use it. What I'm saying, dude, just showing up to work consistently. Can you do it for a week? Can you do it for a month? Can you do it for a year? Mm-hmm. That's a skill to build. So like, I have that. I just show up on time. There's so much just as being an owner of a restaurant and having employees.
yeah,
That is,
takes
90% of it is just showing up.
showing up, just having the discipline
Yeah.
to be there, and
We'll teach you. I'll teach you everything you need to know. If you just show up and have the right attitude, I promise you,
right,
I'll be there for you.
right.
We can learn together.
Man, you guys hiring?
Yeah, come on in. We got a busy summer coming up.
Hell yeah, I bet.
Yeah, we put that patio on last year, and it was kind of just.
Oh yeah, you guys have a big covered patio now on the side.
We do, guys. A big covered patio. Come on down, check it out. Hopefully, opening it up here April or so.
Awesome.
Live music on Saturday nights. Open mic Wednesday night. We're gonna be open Tuesdays this year in between Labor Day and Memorial Day. So.
Wow.
I'm excited, man. I'm excited to get more people in to try new things, to build our business, to see what it's going to be.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing every year. It's like, hey, it's going to be different. It's not going to be exactly the same. But we're going to take what worked, get rid of what didn't, create what's new, maybe have our foot over here in the foundation of what we know will work, and then maybe have one other foot out here. Like, I think this will work, and we're going to try this.
Try new stuff and
exactly.
continue to forge the path.
Exactly. And there's there's an enticing element to that. When you actually can do that and get to do that, it's like, oh man. It's almost like gambling. Like every week, like, I think it's going to be this busy, and I think it's going to be this trend, and I think it's going to be, they're going to eat more of this, and I think, and people, oh man, I noticed that they're way into this menu item I thought was maybe not going to hit. Now it's one of our main, items on the menu. Mm-hmm. It's like I said, every year it's like, all right, let's do the dance, let's figure it out, and those other jobs that I've had that you're talking about. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't really get to do that.
Right.
But there is time to put in to build skills to get to that point where, like I tell people, like, dude, this restaurant is an extension of the process that we get to try new things and what's building out, right? And that's what this podcast is. It's like, hey, this is what we're already doing. Let's talk about it.
Right.
Let's talk about beer. Let's talk about those processes. Let's talk about growing stuff. Let's talk about those relationships in our community.
Right.
You know, this is literally what that is.
Absolutely.
And it's building that up. Having those conversations and talking to people about it. And, oh, dude, I never even thought of it that way, you know, or whatever. So it's fun.
It's unique.
It is. And, dude, podcast. It's what I'm into.
I listen to a lot of them.
Yeah, I know. We've discussed that off camera here. That's what we're into, you know, and just having those cool conversations, listening to those cool conversations of getting those different points of view is, you know, it's so valuable.
Yeah, it's just nice to be a fly on the wall, and you really have access to, even just more perspective and, more information now than ever before. And
we'll be listening to it while we're prepping, and, if it's Joe Rogan or whoever, and, we're prepping, we're into it, and then, like, he'll say something I agree with, somebody will say, and they'll be like, yes, dude, I was thinking, it's like a fly on the wall, but you're part of the conversation because I've had those thoughts.
Right.
I've had that experience, and this is what I did. I'm glad he's talking about that, that fires something else up in me where, hey, there's a different possibility here, and somebody else has gone through it too, and let's build off that, or let's talk about that. Those ideas come up. You get the idea machine rolling. Yeah.
Things that you may not have ever even considered, and, conversations much deeper than than you might be used to having, and sometimes not. Sometimes just really silly shit. But
yeah, and that's okay too.
Yeah,
like
two bears, one cave.
Two bears, one cave. It could just be talking about drinking too much Kool-Aid in your cup, in your glass.
Yeah.
But cool, man. Well, I think that's a good place to stop. I'm just so thankful you're here and able to fill in, and great conversation like we always do.
Yeah, thanks, Matt.
For sure. And, we'll definitely have you back. We'll hang out some more and have some good talks.
No, it means a lot, and I appreciate you having me on.
All right, brother, man.
Thanks.
Cheers.
Cheers.
We're gonna talk about this restaurant life. So let's get into it tonight. It's a blessing as well as strife. So grab your fork and get your knife, 'cause there's so much more to this restaurant life. Yeah, there's so much more to this restaurant life. So much more to this restaurant life. Let's go!